Entertainment news today. It's such a dragon gay. Everything sucks and it's no good. That comes out of Hollywood. But there's one place you can go to get all your news and info, and maybe even have a laugh or two. You know it's true. Midnight's Edge after dark is life. We stand for nerds and geeks, we will survive. From Star Wars to Jurassic Park, it's Midnight's Edge after dark. All those bombs and flops, but need never stops. We will keep going through the night as we keep up the culture fight. Midnight's Edge after dark is life. We stand for nerds and geeks, we will survive. From Star Wars to Jurassic Park, it's Midnight's Edge after dark.
Greetings, everybody, and welcome to Midnight's Edge After Dark, your favorite show on the YouTubes, whether you like it or not. And we're on X, in most places. How you doing, Nick?
Domganas, how you doing, buddy? Nice to see ya. Great to see CC Karaoke. There was some news today about some dinner platter directing James Bond.
What?
Hello, chat and wrenches. Thank you for swinging your wrenches around and for being here.
Indeed, and welcome, CC. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. I finished Silent Hill 2 Remake this morning, and I very highly recommend it. If anybody has any passing interest in the genre or the series, if you haven't played it yet, that is one of the best gaming experiences I've had in a few years. It's just, I was talking about like actually completing something that's not rushed to completion. The amount of detail in every scene in that game is just staggering, and you can tell the people who made it have a very deep understanding of the source material and a reverence for the source material that they respected throughout and added to and enhanced the already masterpiece that was the original. So, yeah, that's my mini highly recommending review of that game.
Well, there you go. So, yeah, with that, let's say hello to the chat. We got Davina Duckworth. We got Valentine Puppy here. We got Patrick Robinson in the house. We've got Deadman here. We got Corley and Rogue. We have Tornadoes in the house, hopefully not outside. We got Snortapoopus. We got D-Bud Martin in the house here. We got, 16-Bit Mascot, FKHC 2005, sending in some love. And we've got Bryant Barth as well as Phoenix Knight. Welcome, everybody. Hit that like button, share out the link, let everybody know that we are live. I know we're a little late. We were waiting to see who was going to show up on the crew, but I guess people got shit to do, so we'll see if anybody else pops in here. We've got plenty of news to talk about for a change. Well, thank you, Tornadoes. I appreciate that. I do rock when I can. It does get crazy, though. Let's see here. We've got, first off, the big news that was breaking about a new director of, where the hell is my thing here?
007.
There we go. James Bond. So Denis Villeneuve will be directing the next James Bond film. There you go, kids. according to reports. So we're getting one step closer to the brand new Bond series. I wouldn't say this is a horrible choice. What do you guys think? Me not being the biggest of the Bond fans on the panel, I guess, even in this small of a panel, probably. Start with you, CC.
Like I've seen all the Bond films several times. I think I can't compare to Nick's level of fandom for those films even then. But I don't hate the choice of Denis for this, insofar as his movies always look pretty. And I think I actually liked Blade. This is going to be sacrilegious to some, but I liked Blade Runner 2049 more than a lot of other people have
I think I just
suggested.
opened my mouth. Hold on.
Well, you also know where I'm coming from a film standpoint. I'll stay away from. Well, look, there's two things, two sides to this, right? Well, one, will he respect the source material? Okay, but from an actual filming standpoint, I do appreciate how his films look and how he uses special effects. Like, I'm much more of a practical effects guy. So when I look at a movie like Blade Runner 2049, I really appreciated the fight scene in that, that at the end of the movie with Harrison Ford in that compartment, a fist fight, as opposed to something more spectacular. I enjoyed that decision making. And I hope that kind of, maturity would find its way into a James Bond film. Like I don't mind James Bond being spectacular, but they took it way too far in whatever Die Another Day. There still has to be a little bit of a reservation about it. Like I think Casino Royale in particular did a very good job of towing that line. So I like him for that reason, but it doesn't on its own give me, it doesn't make me think suddenly that this is not going to be a disaster, right? Given all the other rumors that have been flying around, including that they're going to pull a Snape and make him Black James Bond. I could even say with Black James Bond, there's a side of me that appreciates the character of James Bond has been alluded to at times as being a little bit like it can take place in a different time period. It can be a different James Bond, but I don't know if I prefer that approach. I kind of like the actual character being the character, right? With his actual history being honored. So I don't hate it, but it doesn't make me excited yet.
Well, 0032. Nick, what's your take on this?
When I saw this, I was like, oh, joy to the world. Just what I needed. A Bond movie that's going to take 3 hours to get the ground running. And it's going to look pretty, though. I don't give a shit about that stuff. I think after I finished throwing up, it was not that bad. It took a few minutes to clean up. I would reminisce about how depressing Blade Runner 2049 was. I thought I was never going to come back to be seen or heard from again. I saw Dune Part 1 twice. First time I thought, oh, okay, it's fine. Then second time, it was just boring. And maybe I was just in I guess you could say the hype mode of everyone being so excited. And then second time, I was just like, So I obviously naturally didn't come back for the sequel. And I honestly really don't care to. But hey, it seems like unlike 2049, it seems like Dune has its fans for those movies. And I'm happy for those who got those movies and they seem to be satisfied. So kind of hard to argue with those ties. But for James Bond, bro, I don't need my movie to look stunning. It doesn't need to be a visual masterpiece. I need Bond to be cool. He needs to be badass. He needs to be a little bit of a misogynist. He needs to have gadgets. I don't need to have him be going through the motions. I need him to also have all the greatness that makes Bond movies. The suits, the gadgets, the ladies, the scenery. Like, that's the thing. The movies already look amazing because of the geography already alone. The gadgets look cool. The movies already look amazing. Bond doesn't need a named director to make his movies look good visually. Those movies, the sets, the everything, they do it for themselves already. We don't need a guy here trying to make it artistic like he's some angry crouching tiger bullshit. We need James Bond to be awesome and badass, and we need him also to be go, go, go. Yes, a lot of Bond movies, even dating back to the Sean Connery days, had their moments where they slowed down. But when they after they slowed down, they ramped right back up. Right back up. And you know what? But with Denis or whatever, I can't pronounce his name, it's going to probably take him 2 hours just to get off the couch. So I don't even imagine what this is going to be like with him attached. So I share no optimism, even though it seems like a lot of people in our little sphere of YouTube seem to disagree on that. It's clear that I'm in a minority, but I'm standing by that. Yeah. Oh, Tom is left, so we can hold this down, Cece. But so obviously, yes, you and I have very different thoughts on it. You know what?
Well,
that's fine.
I mean, if you were to look at Blade Runner 2049 or Dune as being absolutely sacrilegious to the source material, and I'm not gonna argue with you on that. I actually have not seen the new Dune movies, so I can't comment on those specifically. But I mean, if we are to have that discussion where he has a history of not handling source material well, that's a bad sign.
Of course,
you know, it should not be a difficult thing to do. I guess where I was coming from is that I do feel that as a director, or at least the people he employs, he has shown a maturity about not going way overboard with how he proceeds. And I do want to see James Bond a little bit toned down. Like I like the spectacular action. I like fight on top of a train. You know, the Roger Moore movies. I love those Roger Moore movies. But I also don't need over the top, like $300 million special effects wasted and looking like female Silver Surfer, which looks worse now than 25. You know what I mean? Like I do like an actual kind of grounded set piece, right? You can do a lot with James Bond in an actual physical location with physical gadgets, right? And you can build that tension in that space a lot of the time. And I don't think that Denny is necessarily the worst choice for that. But I mean, does that mean I have faith in the franchise going forward right now when he needs to be a little bit of a misogynist, when he needs to sleep with women and say some things?
I would say it's definitely part of it for me. To me, it's part of it's a package deal. To me, like having that attached to Bond, you know, you got to have that element there. It doesn't matter who doesn't like it. Just because they don't like it doesn't mean that they're correct. And you had, what's her face, Barbara Broccoli involved with this series for so long. And, you know, she recognizes that Bond needs to be a man who's British and realizes there are qualities to this character that people will find less than ideal. Is it sleazy? Of course it is. But we're rooting for a character in fiction, not in real life, to do these things. Also, he operates outside of the book anyway, so he's not someone who's, let's just say, playing by the law. Let's just say like Batman does. Bond is a guy who's a government agent, and he has to do whatever it takes, and that means sometimes doing less than ideal things. He's not meant to be a full-on hero. He's a secret agent, not a hero. He's a secret agent. I think it's safe to say there is a very good distinction between the two. A hero, you know, you can say some have a different moral compass than ours, but he's an agent. And agents, well, when they're a secret agent, they are going to definitely do ridiculous things. And some are definitely going to be, I'm not so sure about that. But, you know what? That's fine. That's James Bond.
Well, I would say that out of all the directors they had, Villeneuve would have been one of the ones I'd have put near the bottom of the list. For all the reasons you guys are talking about. I mean, look, I'm not the world's biggest Bond fan, so I can't speak to this from a perspective of, you know, that aspect of it, but I can speak to it of what I know most Bond films are like. And Denny is not really known for his action sequences. He's not known for his if it's slow, if it's methodical, if it's thoughtful, perhaps, but that's not Bond, right? I'm not saying that Bond isn't clever or smart. I'm not saying that, but I mean, it's like, I mean, he basically brought Lawrence of Arabia to Dune. Okay, that's great, but you know what? It's still not as entertaining. Like you were saying, Nick, you watched it once, great. The second time you saw it, you're like, okay. And that was the same thing with me. I loved the first film. I got to the second film. The first half's great. And then it falls off a cliff in that second half. And I'm not looking forward to Dune Messiah for that reason, because I don't know how he's going to, fix this or finish this. And then as far as Bond goes, yeah, why not Edgar Wright? Why not one of the, like any of the other names that were mentioned, I would say would be better than Denny on this one. But what do you guys think out there in the chat? I'm curious what you guys have to say, since you're probably more invested in Bond than I am. But let's see what the super chats are saying. Lost for Word sends in £5 and says, IR flopped. I think FF will flop. What's IR?
Ironheart flopped.
Is that what it means?
Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what
I was thinking too. How many more Marvel future projects before Avengers Doomsday will be flops? I will guess 90% of them. I think Marvel is dead. Yeah, I mean, you have a point. Fantastic Four will probably flop, but at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't just squeak by with just enough for them to go, well, it was successful enough. It was profitable. It was this, it was that. But I mean, I've been one of the people who's been kind of lowballing it in the 400s. When I say that, I mean the $400 million range as far as its finishing box office. But I guess we'll have to see on that. But we'll talk about that in just a little bit, maybe some more. We got BA in the house. He sends in $4.99, says, ugly dog in a cape. Off topic, but I had no idea that what Luther said feeling hopeful. I think he said flying dog in a cape when he was talking into the cup. But again, we may get into that in a little bit. BA sends in $4.99 and says, nothing matters with 007 other than something casting at this point. I think he just means it's a casting. I don't know what object you use there. Let me see if I can see it on the YouTube side. I hate it when the StreamYard doesn't.
Oh, I know, right? I'm digging for it. Nope, never mind.
It's just
he did 2 super chats. Okay, I found it. No, it's other than OBA. It's that thing. It's what you see on the stream. It's what's on StreamYard too. It's weird. The same thing, Tom. Yeah,
I don't know what that means unless it's maybe
it's
the
literally
phone
not you. It's the stream both ways.
It's the phone maybe he's using or the whatever.
Could
be.
Maybe.
I don't know. But then BA sends another $4.99, says a Henry Cavill Bond would be amazing in theaters. Why can't they just do what the fans want? It's a perfect fit. With Denny, they're going to ruin it. Yeah, I agree with you. And, like I said before, there's a good chance now that it may be Henry Cavill, but we'll have to wait and see what comes of this. So, yeah. All right.
I mean,
well.
I was wondering if they're going to mantle it with James Bond himself. I felt like they were going that direction in the last few movies. I don't know if you have an opinion on this, but I feel like they're going to mantle it. They're going to kind of create a new James Bond, not attached to his own characteristic history, like a brand new character. I'm worried about that.
I saw something that kind of hinted at kind of what we were talking about when that James Bond game come out, or not the game, but come out, but the trailer. I mean, sorry. Yeah. More recently, and it does kind of sound like that is like the launch of the Amazon Bond franchise. And if they're doing like what they're doing over at Conan, then I would imagine whoever they get as Bond is going to look a lot like that actor that they had in that video game. Mm-hmm. And what's funny is, didn't he kind of have like and again, this is not a name I've heard much, but I have heard it tossed about. But God damn it, what's his name? Mobland and Venom. Tom Hardy. Jesus. I always forget his last name. Tom Hardy is a name that's been tossed into the ring from time to time. And I remember a lot of people saying that he kind of looked like a young Tom Hardy in that video game.
I remember that too. Well,
but then there's some people thinking that it's Denny will. Who knows who he'll have? I doubt it'll be Timothy Chalamet.
Glory be. Glory to the whole.
We'll have to wait and see what comes of this. So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure most people are not as upset about it or worried about it as probably people in our sphere. But But the reason I brought up the video game thing is, yeah, the whole point I was getting at is over at Conan, their whole thing is they're trying to make it all uniformed and look the same and have the same feeling and follow the same canon. And I wonder if they're going to do the same thing with Bond over at Amazon to kind of, because that seems to be like where a lot of these franchises and IPs are going, where they'll get a brand ambassador or somebody to run the company or the vision, kind of like with James Gunn over at Warner Brothers, which I guess we can talk a little bit about that if you guys want to. Because evidently, this has broken the internet now. We're not going to show the scene itself because I don't want to get nailed by anybody, but people have been posting this comic book panel to, or page, I mean, not panel, to show, Superman is capable of doing these kind of things. Because people, again, are getting all upset and in arms about Superman showing emotions. And I see a lot of different takes and feelings on the scene, and I've even had quite a few people come at me. It's funny that most of the people that are coming at me, though, are the Snyder Bros, I've noticed. They don't realize that a quick search, just look of their Facebook or X postings will just show that, yeah, they're clearly Snyder Bros. When you're reposting shit like, hashtag, bring back the Snyderverse and shit like that. It's pretty obvious.
Oh, yeah.
And some of them make it super obvious by just putting it in their bios. So, yeah.
It's to me, like, when you mention that you're a Snyderverse like aholic, that's like the pronouns in bio equivalent. Even though they came
kind of
that, but I equivalent to that. It's like, oh, okay, or now I already know where your take comes from, type of thing. When you let me know that.
Yeah, all I know is an animal lover and a father. If somebody took my dog or kidnapped my kid or anything like that, I'd act this way. And I took the scene as Superman is showing Lex what he's capable of.
Me too.
And I know, yes, in a way, Lex is winning. Like he's getting Superman's goat, but at the same time, Superman knows this, but he's putting it up to the point where he doesn't touch Lex, doesn't touch any of his people, hasn't hurt anybody, and he just wants his dog back. And again, we have no context around the scene other than that. That's another thing we were discussing before the show. But Nick, I want to get your feelings on this because I don't think you even watched the scene itself per se, because you're kind of avoiding.
Watch the scene. I'm at the point where the second trailer sold me, genuinely speaking, and I don't need to see any more than I have already seen. And I already feel like there is a lot of mindless arguing over not the type of good, fun fanboy arguments that we have, who went Superman or Hulk type of thing, but the whole scene with the whole him and Lois arguing. It's just like, bro, they're in a private room. This is not out in public. Like, we don't know the context of this. I'm not gonna argue about the scene. This to me was just a very needless argument. I feel like now hearing what I'm hearing about the scene of him reacting to crypto being lost. I mean, judging from what I heard and not what I've seen. So, yes, there is a bit of a prejudgment here on my side, but I'll own it. I'll backtrack if I need to post July 8th. It just sounds like it's a big nothing burger. It just sounds like people are just looking for a reason to crap on this movie. And I hate saying that, too, because I'm not one of those guys who's just going to, blindly love what James Gunn does just because he's James Gunn. Same thing with Snyder. If it's bad, I'm going to tell you it's bad. But it seems like this insane polarization we've had with the Superman movie where everything is about watching every little detail under a microscope. I feel like we have really crossed a few bridges too far with this movie. I'd rather just see it for what it is and love or hate it, or even if it's okay for what it is. Once I have the full details for all these scenes, and I feel like I can judge a lot more fairly rather than just be instant reactionary on this movie. But it sounds like a nothing burger, and I don't see what the problem is. This isn't Rachel the bitch Zegra playing Snow Brown and causing a problem. Now that to me was like, okay, that was very off-putting. This, on the other hand, Superman being pissed off about his dog. Okay, let me be pissed off about his dog. That's like his friend growing up, bro. You don't think Superman has a moment where he can lash out, especially at Lex? Of course, he's clear. He knows what Lex is. He knows the real Lex. He can act that way. He's not in public where he has to put on a bit more of a sharper, stoic image. He's out there in front of Lex in private. He can definitely dish out some attitude at that moment, and at times he has. Sometimes a little bit dry humor, sometimes with it being more straight ahead attitude. But this is not the weirdest thing that we did. This isn't like when Superman just decided to snap Zod's neck. This isn't like when he was given awful advice on not saving people by his parents. This isn't the Quest for Peace movie number 4 from the Reeves saga. There's so many other problems that are actual problems, but this is the one we're choosing to make a problem. I don't buy it. That's my say.
I personally, I like the scene in isolation. I watched it before the show with the two of you. I like how it's shot. I like how it's acted. I even like the James Gunn humor in there. He says, ugly dog in a cape. All right. I mean, the part of my brain was like, I kind of wish he'd actually like admitted that he knew what Superman was talking about in that moment. And then I thought about it for a minute. I was like, all right, I find the humor. That's good. I like how he kind of sips his coffee. It's like it's a literal meme on screen, which can go too far. But my real concern with this movie and the reason that I've been down on it, well, first of all, because I think there's just way too many special effects, and that I'll bang that drum to the end of time. But second of all, I'm not sold on the story. I'm willing to be wrong about that. I'm willing to watch the movie and think, wow, this is a fantastic story. But it's in this scene where he says, make sure you get it on camera. And my brain immediately was like, okay, I can see how this is playing into the plot of the movie. They're going to film him busting into the office, and they're going to post it online on social media and run the news narrative about how he's a violent, awful person who's a danger to society. And that's going to tie into that apparently 10 or 15 minute scene of him and Lois in that apartment. I don't know how that's going to play out for that long, but if the whole movie is centered around it and they're really like bearing down into this, where the trailer shot of people throwing stuff at the back of his head and all that, I don't know how I'm going to feel about that as a plot line right now. I don't know how much I care about it as a plot line. It is true to the world that we're living in right now. And I suppose if it's handled deftly, it can be good. But I can also see it just being really, really cringe and awful. And like, why do I really care about this as a plot line? Fake news, real news, social media, memes, the way people gang up on each other on any social media platform, including X, or formerly Twitter. So I'm definitely hesitant about that. I'm willing to be wrong. Just,
Well, we have Mark joining us. How you doing, Mark?
Hey, just got home. So yeah, great
Sweet.
process there by Cece. Yep. But and I guess Paulie's going to see this tonight early. I was just talking to him.
Yeah, there's some early reactions to it that are they can't really say anything, but they're hinting that there's something where either like there's something special about this, or it is a semi-decent film. At least it does sound like that might be the case. At least what most people are feeling, but we don't know because they're under embargo.
When's the embargo lift?
The embargo lifts on the 7th, I believe, and we got Script Doctor as well. Holy shit! Hey.
Wow.
Cavalry has arrived.
Hey guys,
Hello.
how's it going? I'm actually like on a train right now, so I don't know how well you can hear me or not.
We can hear you a little
Are you
bit.
more
Clear, just a
powerful?
little
Oh, we
low.
just lost him.
No.
Seriously,
Yeah.
I was just about to ask him if he was more powerful than that locomotive, and he disappeared.
Oh, I guess not. Come back, Script. Come back.
Need a Starlink. Yep.
Is Starlink on smartphones yet? I don't know. I don't keep up with that stuff.
Someday it'll be there. Someday.
Someday? Okay.
But can people even say, they can't even say if it's good or bad, even if with the embargo, you can't say anything, I guess. You like, we don't even know thumbs up, thumbs down, I guess, or
Technically, no. Yeah.
technically, okay, yep.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully Script can rejoin us. But in the meantime, have you seen the clip that everybody's talking about, Mark? The clip that broke the internet?
Which clip was that? Just because there's been a few of those.
The dog clip where he gets all pissed off about the dog.
Oh
Hits the
yeah,
table.
Yeah, I that kind of PO'd me too. I thought that Superman would, CC would say he'd keep his emotions in check unless he was under red kryptonite. Uh, but of course, you've got that page up there, so writers have, changed his characters, but that's just not
Yeah.
the kind of thing I want to see. But maybe as a young Superman, I guess maybe I could forgive it, but depends on what Lex has done too. But
I look at it this way, and this is the funniest one I keep seeing, Mark, that people respond to this. It's just a dog. And it's like, well, there's a whole series of films where it was based on just a dog.
John
It's
Wick?
called John Wick. Yeah. And that motherfucker killed so many goddamn people over that dog. And I bet you all the same people that are saying that are people that love those movies. So to me, it's just like, dude, anybody who's ever had kids or dog, I get it. Different people are going to react differently to different things. But to me, and I totally, understand that some people don't like how he acted in it, and I get that. But I also seen it as
that way if he had his parents kidnapped by Luthor. I think he would.
no, he
and
just go
should.
Martha, save Martha.
Oh, you have to make that Snyder. The one time I'm trying to avoid that asshole, and we bring him in.
Well, that's what I love about the Snyder pokes, because they're sitting there saying this shit, and they're forgetting that their whole fucking movie could have been avoided had Superman not been a dick. Because do you guys not remember? Does everybody forget the end of BBS but me? Because motherfucker comes down and goes, Batman, we need to talk. And instead of saying anything, he proceeds to push him. He pushes Batman. He doesn't say anything after that. And they just start fucking fighting for no good fucking reason. Instead of saying, my mom's been kidnapped, we need to work together.
Yeah.
Hey, Script.
I just wanted
Welcome
to
back.
fight.
Hey guys, sorry about that earlier. It's a weird spotty signal.
But anyway, to finish my point before we get Script's feeling on this, I was just going to say, like, my whole point is he's kind of showing Lex what he's capable of. Because notice in the scene, he doesn't hurt anybody. He just busts the door in. And he's like, "You're lucky that's not you." He flips the desk and says, he's basically saying that you're lucky that's not you. Now where's my fucking dog? That to me is what he's saying with that scene, regardless of the emotional outburst of it. But anyway, Script, everybody's talking about this scene. I'm curious what you feel about.
Well, what I feel is that there's a dangerously large size of the internet that never interacted with people before. Doesn't know the difference between anger management, lashing out, throwing a temper tantrum, and being a very reserved and intimidated and upset person. That's what shocks me.
Yeah, I think you're kind of going along the same lines I am, where he's kind of saying, like, yeah, you're lucky this door isn't you, Lex. You're lucky this desk isn't you, Lex. Now where's my damn dog?
And again, I mean, sure, he's destroying private property, but he's doing it in a very conserved and restricted manner that he's not tearing down half the city like some other directors would have done. He's going in there. He knows what's up. And Lex Luthor is showing how easy it is for him to get under Superman's skin of steel, so to speak. And that's what you see Superman starting to realize very quickly while he's in that scene. You
kind of have to have that.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No, like
I was just going to say, you kind of have to have that passion to be a guy like Superman too, in a way.
Well, yeah, he wears his
and care that much.
He wears all of his emotions on his sleeve, and he gets angry rather easily, but he handles it in very different ways. I mean, a lot of people think Superman's always stoic. Well, he's always stoic in a crisis that doesn't affect him personally, because he knows he can get it done. If a building is toppling over, he's not going to panic. He's going to stop it. He's going to reset the building and protect the people inside. That's where his stoicism comes from. But when he started hurting his friends, his family, his pets, he gets very close to being able to lose his temper, and he does it in very different manners. Sometimes he'll be like Dean Cain, who actually shot Lex Luthor with a bullet and then caught it inches before his face and then bent one of his most expensive swords in front of him. He could be like Superman with Christopher Reeve, where he literally pushed in the vaulted door to Lex Luthor's underground base, knocking over a table lamp, and then very sternly said, and then grabbed Luthor by the throat and picked him up and said, "Where's the detonator, Luthor?" Like he actually physically handled Lex Luthor in that situation. When
didn't he say something like, I'll bill you for the door or something like that?
Yeah. But the thing, he also says, "I'll mold this box into your prison bars." Like Superman does physical things. And the people who I think are trying to make a big hoopla out of this are I think doing so for very, very unethical, moral reasons. Like, listen, I'm not saying that this James Gunn Superman is going to be a banger. I hope it is. I have no idea other than what some of my colleagues have spoiled to me, and I hope some of their spoilers are wrong, because I would really love to see that, but I also want to be surprised. But I also think I think we're in a shift right now. As I said on Mead, as I said on Midnight's Edge in the Morning, like 5 years ago, that 2024 and 2025 would be the year we'd start seeing changes in Hollywood. And Warner Brothers has been leading that front. And we've got, I would say this, David Cornsweet in his acting in that scene was remarkable, because he goes from anger to observation to reserved to threatening. Because when Luther mumbles that line, "ugly dog with a cape," Superman doesn't say, what did you say, as if he didn't hear you. He's like saying, "What did you say? Say that again."
Yeah, because we all know he can hear him clearly.
Yeah, he's trying to get him to say it out loud, as if because he's picked up he's read the room. Luthor has literally staged this entire event deliberately to video Superman, quote unquote, losing his temper. He's going to cut that out of context. It's going to hit on social media worldwide, and then somebody on the street is going to hit Superman in the back of the head with a can of soup. And that's all done by design, because remember, Luthor picks up his coffee cup mere seconds. He knows Superman was going to throw his desk away. He knew it. He's figured out Superman, and there's a lot of subtlety in that. But I mean, sadly,
we also don't know the context leading into the scene outside of the dog, right? Like, and I'm wondering, because like we know how James is about showing only earlier or first half or first act stuff for the trailers, and clips usually. Now I'm wondering if this is following the stuff where because we've seen Lex go into the Fortress of Solitude, and we've seen that he does something in there clearly, probably fucks the place up pretty good.
Kills the robot.
Kills the robot, because I'm saying this is probably right after he's watching his robot die, and he knows Lex has the dog, and he's just at that point where he's like, this motherfucker. And like I said, he's coming in and he's showing him, like, you're lucky this isn't you. I could do this to you. I could snap you like a twig. And he knows what Lex is up to, like you said, Script, but he's at that point where, you know, where somebody's got your goat, where he's got you at that most vulnerable place. And like I said, anybody who's ever had kids or animals knows that if, like, you know, if somebody did that to you, how would you fucking react? And anybody who says, well, I wouldn't act that way, well, I think they're kind of full of shit, and or then I just don't believe you, because, man, I don't know. Like I said, there's a whole fucking film franchise based on a guy who killed an entire syndicate over a dog. So,
yeah, but it's also based on people who I think have never actually truly dealt with someone that threw a real temper tantrum before, and know the difference between someone where you have pissed off so greatly that they show a little bit of what you could call irrational action, and then completely stop, and they end up becoming and appearing calm, but you know that you have done effed up so bad that you are scared to death about what they could do next. And the fact that they're not moving anything, that fact that they're no longer yelling and they're talking directly, specifically to you, that's called intimidation. And that's called basically a lot of discipline, which means they could let loose. They could trash the whole thing. They could wring his neck. They could do whatever they want to him, but they're not. And the reason they're doing that is because they're trying to say, I am giving you a chance, because I've already shown you that you are not worthy of it, but I'm doing it because I don't want to be as horrible as you. and that's what some temper tantrums are. I mean, the shocking criticism, which, don't get me wrong, I think it's valid to have a first run opinion on things, but the shocking criticism of, oh, we've now seen Clark lose his temper in front of Lois Lane, and now he's lost his temper in front of Lex Luthor. So clearly he's an unhinged person. And I would argue, well, how many times have you gotten into a fight with your kid, your spouse, or a family member? Would you want me to take all of those fights and only judge you by them, or would you like me to judge you by the entirety of your character? And that question seems to really kind of throw a wrench into their narrative.
And I'll tell you, as a parent of somebody who has of a kid that has autism, you don't even know what a fucking temper tantrum is. But anyway, you're going to say something, Mark. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I mean, Superman is considered the Boy Scout, and hey, I'm a Scout leader, so yeah. But you know, he's considered that straight-laced superhero. But people have their snapping points. I'm thinking of a time when I was at a meeting, and you know, long and short, but someone kept picking on someone I kind of considered like a younger sister, and I've got the, you know, like I'm considered like the gentle giant that never gets angry. And this guy basically called her stupid, and then we all, you know, I said, you know, hey, knock it off. And I thought he told me to F off. So I got out of my chair. I'm sitting next to him, you know, 6 feet, you know, 250 plus. And I told him to F off, and he wanted to step outside. We would finish it there. and no one could believe it in the room. And the guy was shaking because I would have destroyed him. I was hoping he took a punch at me because all of a sudden I snapped. And this guy had acted like an asshole for so long, and something you protect about. So, like Superman, Crypto, that's his last, one of his ties to his home planet. And anyone who's have a pet, they're like a member of your family. So, I could see where Superman would snap there, and then he comes into control. But people read too much sometimes into these things where it's, just one scene in the movie, and we've got to see the whole movie, the whole context, and then judge it from that point. But yeah, I think I could see Superman losing it, right? If it's dealing with his dog.
Sure, but we're also missing a really important aspect here. We finally are seeing a Lex Luthor that's being evil for his own pleasure.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
He could probably have some sympathy of stuff, but there's a motivation behind that, and he's actually doing something very evil. Whether he has stolen crypto or he has made Superman appear to think that he has stolen crypto, that's some dark stuff right there. And
he also seems to have...
the world is going to love that scene at the movie. And if Lex Luthor manages to kill crypto, which I don't think he'll do, that would make him the most dangerous comic book supervillain we've seen in film history in a long time.
I agree with that. No, what I like about what I'm getting from the stuff I've seen and the stuff I've heard, it feels like Lex is actually trying to make things a lot more personal, which that is awesome to see play off into the show, into this movie. And when we're talking about the stoicism, Superman has when he has the cameras on, or he's before a crowd of people, or he's saving people, he's gonna make his stoicism a priority because he wants people to believe. He wants them to see the strength, because he wants to spawn off that good energy, good behavior, all that is contagious. He wants people to see that side of him so they can give back in return. He's not gonna just react all the time like this when there's a crowd, because he wants to give them something to believe in. It doesn't mean that that's not him when the cameras are not rolling. It just knows that when he's acting that way, something really bad has to happen.
Pretty much, yeah. And then the other part too is that I would predict that if James Gunn is understanding social media and understanding human behavior well, I would say that the backfire aspect of what Lex is doing is that he inadvertently exposes that while Superman is an alien, he's as human as everyone else, and is therefore more relatable, more trustworthy, and more of a hero that they need, as opposed to the manufactured stuff that Maxwell Lord is doing, or whatever sort of nefarious thing that Lex Luthor is doing to try and gain, certain status. Because one of his obsessive goals, at least post-crisis, is that Lex Luthor wants essentially to be the most prominent figure of history in his era. And no one else could ever achieve or meet him after he passes away. He wants that top tier status. And Superman's existence completely usurps him from getting that.
Yeah, Deadman brings up sorry, I was just going to say, and Deadman brings up a good point. Superman was raised by humans, and that's the thing, is we're glad that he was raised by good humans, right? Yeah. But I'm sure Jonathan Kent would not be somebody who would be fucked around with, right? Like if somebody was fucking him over, I'm sure he'd be the first one to say, "Hey, buddy, I may have been born, but I wasn't born yesterday. You're not going to piss down my back and tell me it's raining." Like he's not going to let anybody fuck him over. And I'm sure Superman would learn that kind of,
patience and tolerance. Yeah.
Patience and tolerance, but only so far. And I love that story you told, Mark, because I know you well enough to know you're very patient and you're very tolerant of certain things, but like if somebody pissed you off like that to a point, sometimes it doesn't always take as much as you think, but it's just like a thing of building up. And that was my point with the context, right? It was like, how do we know that this isn't all building up from Superman coming home to the Fortress of Solitude, seeing it completely destroyed? He's destroyed all his robots. We don't know what else he's done in the place. And Crypto's missing, right? And the only thing is like maybe a cape with like something written on it, basically like in the same way of, ho ho ho, now I have a machine gun type of thing.
Or the last words of number 4 robot it was Luthor,
Right. I figured that would be it too. Like he knew it was Luthor, right? Like that's the thing, is Superman knows. He's not dumb. He's not even acting like there's a possibility it could be somebody else.
Right.
Right. And that's the whole thing is, and Lex has the upper hand here. That's the problem. Because Superman wouldn't physically do anything, but even if he could, he wouldn't hurt or kill Lex, because then he wouldn't know where Crypto is, and he would have no idea what's going on, right? So that's the whole thing, is he just wants Crypto back safe and sound is his main goal at this point, but there's probably a lot more going into this, right? And we're also, if we're learning and hearing about all the things we're hearing about, Lex has been doing nothing but running a hate campaign on him, trying to get the people to hate him and everything else. And we can see it in Lex. He's a narcissistic asshole who can't stand that people are worshiping this false prophet that he sees him as, when they should be worshiping at the feet of Lex Luthor, at all his, you know, his you know,
His
dominance
genius,
and
his wealth, his
genius and his
invention,
wealth
yeah.
and all that shit. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got that massive ego that, and it looks like the portrayal is gonna be really good. So we'll just erase the last Superman movie out of our minds. But yeah, this Lex just looks really sinister and evil, and
he
yeah, you
should
got to
be a
get
lot
under.
like,
Yeah,
I brought up Die Hard for a reason, because I'm like, yeah, he should be a lot like a Hans Gruber. You know, because Hans Gruber can just sit there and get under your fucking skin because you can't do anything to get him. The only time he's upset is when Bruce Willis is doing shit, and the most upset he gets is basically when he blows up his fucking bombs. Like, and even then, it's like
Hans Gruber killed Supergirl's boyfriend.
That's true. For doing too much cocaine.
I thought you were going to mention the scene with the breaking in. It was the Thing with the beard. No, that was going crazy.
Oh, that's the other part. Okay, so that's good. We'll get to that. Like, let's see what everybody's saying about if there's anything about Superman necessarily. Let's see. We got Jason Webster says, "Script doctor, I'm afraid Hollywood is suffering from." Oh, this is a totally. We'll get back to that one. I was just looking for something specifically with Superman, so we can get past that and go into Fantastic Four. Jason Webster says, hated the dropped scene of Superman inquiring Lex on where crypto is. One of my many examples that has not moved the needle for me on Gunn's Superman. And hey, that's fair.
Yeah,
I get it. Some people are feeling that way, but you know, some people are just being jerks about it, and that's usually the people with ZDS or the Snyder Bros or whatever.
Also, let's be fair, people who are acting like they know so much about Superman but don't know as much as they lead on.
yeah, there's that too.
Hey, I'm saying it. If anyone said who said that, I said it. And and also, and even for those who may know, short-term memory too. There's a lot of people who may know some of the stuff and they clearly have forgotten a lot of moments, not just in comics, also in cartoons and in movies and in live shows, aka all of the above. This has happened. If you genuinely forgot, okay, hey, great, we can't all be perfect. That's including me. Fine. But let's not pretend like this is some new concept that's never happened, or it's even a super rare one. It's one that definitely happens, and that's a fact.
Yeah, I mean, I can't help but feel like if this same exact scene would have played out in a Man of Steel setting with Henry Cavill and that queerdo version of fucking Lex, that whatever Jesse Eisenberg was doing, that they'd be applauding it and say, "Yeah, what a Chad! Yeah." I have that fucking feeling. I mean, and I get that, and I actually respect Mark's feelings on it more than I do any of theirs, because Mark's coming from a more nuanced place, and I know he's not any of those things that those guys are. So unfortunately, if I feel like you're carrying any bias, I'm just going to be like, I don't respect your opinion on this. I'm sorry. Fuck off. Right? Like, I'm not going to sit here and waste my time. It's not even worth it. But now Mark makes good points. But I mean, I know I can have a conversation with Mark, and once I see the film, I may feel the same fucking way as Mark, but I feel like there's a lot more context here we're not seeing. And yeah, so I totally understand how you feel, Jason. But we got about, 2-3 weeks before we'll find out if that's the case or not. And then Chinatsky is actually sick of online talk over the Superman movie. Oh, well.
Sorry.
it's gonna flare up.
That's gonna be the case with DC. When it comes to all fandoms, if there's one fan base that's a lot more passionate, and that's saying a lot considering you factor in Doctor Who, Star Wars, Star Trek, Marvel, Disney, whatever, Transformers, G.I. Joe. There's an actual level of passion to DC that is unmatched. Whether you decide it's for better or for worse is up to you. But yeah, it comes with the conversation now.
Well, and then BA sends in $4.99 to say, Tom, you said it wasn't ugly dog in a cape, but rewind the tape. I believe it is. It might be. I thought he said flying dog in a cape.
It's ugly.
Could,
yeah, it's ugly.
It could be ugly
According
dog.
to the closed
I think he
captions,
said
yeah.
ugly.
I think I've
Yeah.
only watched it twice, and once was on my phone, so forgive me, I guess. Either way. But we'll get back to some of these other ones on other topics in just a moment. BA says, this time, it's personal. Yeah, it was personal for Superman, that's for sure. I love that tagline, even if you don't like the movie. So let's we got one more for Superman here. Soul Nightmare says, also, keep in mind, Crypto belongs to Kara. She's the only living relative he has left. She and Crypto are the only connection to Krypton he has. Even if he doesn't like Crypto, that dog is family. That's another thing too. And I brought that up in kind of a point, not just the obvious emotional aspects to it, but the fact that what is Lex doing with this dog? Obviously it's not a regular dog, right? He could be experimenting on it. To what end is he got? What is his fucking goal kind of thing, you know?
Well,
So
I mean,
there's-
we got a hint at something in the previous Superman trailer where Metamorpho's kid is shown, and it seems to me that Luthor is doing some sort of kidnapping, blackmail, extortion tactic, where if he takes something precious from a person of interest to him, he can then control them. And that's a classic Luthor's plot from like the the Silver Age and Modern Age.
Mm-hmm. So let's speaking of Silver Age, let's talk about we'll get back to the super chats, guys. I know we got a few more in there about Bond and stuff, and now that we got Script here, I'll get his feelings on that too. But as Mark brought up Fantastic Four, because that's the movie that Superman is kind of really duking it out with. And yeah, this bearded thing that's going around. Let me see.
Only thing that can have a beard is me.
Right.
Get the man a
Now-
chisel. I don't know.
Now he did have a and my avatar is from FF number 5, where the thing in the Marvel universe is Blackbeard the pirate.
Yeah.
So so
But
that's
he has like
FF
a hairy beard in your picture.
Yeah, it's a fake beard. It's a fake
It's a
beard.
fake
that
beard,
he,
like,
that he puts on.
yeah.
Yeah. Now the only other time that I could find that he had a beard was in FF 605 by John Hickman and Ron Garney.
Yep.
I see Ron
just
Garney.
about to say
Mark-
that.
If I see Garney at Terrificon this year, I'm going to give him a piece of my business or laugh at him about it. Get him to sign that issue for me. I forgot about it. I did some web research, and it's set. I think it's 10,000 years in the future, or 1,000 years, and it's Ben
It was the
actually
future.
spoiler died.
That's all
Yeah,
that
it's in the
matters.
future. We're in the future, and he's ancient, and he's got this beard. But that's the only time that he's got a beard that I could find, because there's a joke issue. One of the other episodes where he wakes up and Johnny's put straws on him, and he's like, he wakes up and it's just a prank. It's like, he's like, I've never had, and it's John Byrne art. So Marvel. Oh, it's Barry Windsor Smith, and yeah, it's a joke by Johnny putting straws on his face. He's like, I got a beard. What's going on? What a revolting development. So yeah, it's just, I just don't know why they have to do. They do that for crazy reasons, just to be different. It's and then the whole issue of like, it's clobbering time starts in a cartoon, and it's a joke to make Ben say it.
Mark, before
yep.
the show went live, I was telling Tom how Clobby would be livid if he heard that. And you know what? I would be too.
Actually, I
That
think I
was
said that
bullshit.
specifically, but like, yeah, we were both in agreement there.
Oh,
Because I had heard the rumor like not too long ago that, or like just like seriously, like just this week, that he doesn't say the line in the movie. This was before the trailer come out. Somebody had said that to me that it's only in a cartoon or whatever, and he won't say the line. And then in the movie itself proper, it's Johnny who actually says the line, and it's probably in this scene here. Is my guess.
And then Johnny says it's or maybe finally Ben says it. I mean, I guess that's my favorite character, obviously, but I guess it depends on how it plays out in the movie. But making a joke out of it, or if it's a long running joke the whole movie, because that's Ben's catchphrase. It's like, you don't make a joke out of his catchphrase and then have it come up to be from the cartoon that comes up with it, and not Ben. I mean, I'm more pissed off about the not Silver Surfer, but the beard is ridiculous. It's stupid. It's like, now I got to buy an action figure with a beard too. Is that why they're doing to sell more action figures? And what are they get stuck somewhere in time, or how does this work?
Oh,
And,
this movie
yeah,
takes
how's it gonna
place over the course of a year. I mean, Sue Storm goes from not being pregnant to giving birth to a kid.
Yeah.
That's the first red flag, is that you're making a movie that takes place over a very, very long period of time. The second part is that they're doing its clobbering time the same way they did with Captain America 2 Avengers Assemble. They want to hold it back and make it a more powerful moment. I don't know if they can land it the way that they did in Endgame, but that's clearly what they're doing here.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
and we did get a leak of the plot, and it's starting to look like it's probably accurate. Now, of course, this is from Reddit.
Yeah, I saw your video on this.
But yeah, we did a video on it, so I'm not going to get into it in case people they don't want spoilers. I mean, I just flashed it on the screen there, so if you want to go back and read it quick, that's up to you. Otherwise, like Nick just said, we did do a video on it. So,
you know, oh God, what was I going to say about what Mark said? Oh, with the catchphrase. You know, I got something a little different out of it. I got out of it with the whole cartoon thing, and once again, and I could be wrong on this. What I got out of that whole knocking on the line was, oh yeah, well they say that stuff in cartoon. They don't actually say that. Like, it's one of those, we need this to be taken seriously. No one says these silly catchphrases type of deal. That's
that,
what
to me,
I got out of that.
would be like in the Ninja Turtle movie if when Splinter goes, I have always liked Cowabunga. If all the turtles turned and said, Cowabunga, that's stupid.
Thank
Who
you.
would say that, dude?
Thank you. That's what I got out of it. It's that whole they're mocking on these phrases because, you know, they're historical phrases in comics, and they're like, oh yeah, we don't actually like these things. They're silly. It's just like, no, we do like those things. Those are extensions of those characters. Those are essential phrases. They're things that became tied to these characters. And like, I imagine like a world where Spider-Man says, yeah, I don't want to talk about great power and responsibility. Like, really? I did not like to me, it felt like a very vague knock on the quote by making, oh, they only say that stuff in cartoons. I don't like that at all. Once again, I don't know the context. I could be wrong, but that was definitely my interpretation of it.
yeah, they're making fun of it. It's using his tagline as a joke. And at one point,
punchline.
Yeah, and then one point the Thing was the most popular character in Marvel too. In the 70s, he was. I mean, he got a horrible cartoon. You know, Thing Ring, do your thing. Don't mention that to a fan.
Yeah, I didn't even know about that until I think you had told me about it. I found out about. Oh, that's where it was. It was in that Clobbering Times clip from his when we were doing his memorial special this last week here.
Yeah, so I mean, he was kind of like the Wolverine of the 70s in terms of popularity, and you know, nowhere near as popular anymore. But I just don't like making fun of it. I guess I got to wait to see how how does it turn out. But that's, you know, it's clobbering time. That's the thing. I mean, that's don't make fun of that. And that's what gets me too, is that these people don't realize that you know, as they're making these movies, that people are serious about this stuff, and that's why they're so passionate about the characters, and that's why you shouldn't do a freaking female try to do Shalabal as the Silver Surfer. She's not the Silver Surfer, and she was the Silver Surfer, you know, for 2 seconds in an alternative reality, and it's not even Shalabal in one of them. It's just ridiculous. So,
in one issue in an alternate universe in a miniseries that was forgotten about from over a quarter of a century ago.
No,
and you're trying to use that as your point of reference.
Now we finally got to hear her speak in this trailer. Did anybody else get the same vibes I did?
What were your vibes?
I'm not going to say it right away. I want to hear what everybody else thinks. Anybody else?
I heard you say it before the show.
Yeah,
and now
so
I can't
you keep your mouth shut. Anybody else? Because I'm curious. Did you get the same vibes I did? Anybody else? There's a character from an old sci-fi movie that she sounded just like.
Not Gort, right? Not Gort,
no.
right? No.
I got nothing.
Cut unit. Vija does not understand.
Oh, yeah.
She sounds just like fucking Aaliyah. Nobody else heard that but me, I guess. So maybe it's just me.
I know. I got to listen to it. I got to listen to it again and see.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, that sounds just like fucking Aaliyah from Star Trek The Motion Picture. And I think that's what they're doing. I do. You know what? Disney isn't as bad. Let me bring up the clip.
Yeah, Paramount, they sometimes they're pretty. They might claim, you know, depending on how long it is, but yeah.
Yeah, usually Disney isn't so bad. But here, let me play it for you guys so you can hear it. Because I was like, that is totally, they're just doing Aaliyah from Star Trek.
Maybe it could be influenced by it, for better or worse.
Are you talking about like when she becomes the probe and she's got that weird distortion?
No, she just has the same timbre and everything. Like when she's the V'ger version, obviously.
Yeah. When Aaliyah becomes the probe.
At least she's hot as the.
I'm trying to find the
I
shot.
mean,
Where
Aaliyah
is
is
it?
way better looking.
That's
than
just
the
in the
woman who
cartoon.
Sorry, what'd you say, Script?
Aaliyah from Star Trek is way more attractive than the
Oh, fuck yeah.
chick from.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the voice.
Never late for Sunday dinner. Let's eat.
Hey, what time is it?
It's dinner time. Get inside.
I herald his beginning. I herald your end. I herald Galactus.
What is that? Get us out of here, Ben! Hold on!
So yeah, I mean, maybe it was just
Yeah, I
me.
can hear the no, it's a timbre. It's the vibration they add.
And the way
add
she
there.
kind of just has like a more of a monotone kind of thing going on.
Yeah, they got that background, that vibration resonance to her voice. You know, like
I'm
it's-
surprised they just didn't make her bald. Then it would have been very spot on. I mean, I almost might have respected it a little bit more.
You know, I hate. I said this before show, and I hate this, but I actually like the song. I just feel like the movie is a big mismatch for the song because the song reminds me of when you would really affiliate a theme song with the movie. When someone's like, "Oh, you remember this movie? Yeah, I remember that movie." And then the song, and they start singing, humming, or singing the main lyrics of it. It has one of those songs that I feel like has that good ring to it. It's got a nice hook. It's catchy. It's memorable. But then you put this movie with it. Oh, it's the freaking Wild Wild West all over again. And I hate that because I actually like the song. I do. I think it's got a good ring to it. And I've accidentally caught myself, singing it in person. But then I had to think about that damn movie. I'm like, oh, that movie. It's fucking AIDS. No.
I mean, I'm not against that. Like, I actually kind of find it charming. Like I brought up, and most people didn't even notice it until I brought it up. Even Andre was like, what? I did not notice that before. But in RoboCop 2, it actually says RoboCop in the theme. Like it's like a choir singing RoboCop. And I've always found it cheesy and funny. And I played it for him on the show. And he's like, wow, I never noticed that before. But yeah. So, yeah. Well, let's see what you guys are talking about out there in the chat. BA says the guy asking him to say it's clobbering times actually had the voice of the Thing. What the fuck?
That's
Is it?
right. Yeah, great
he's
point. Yeah,
right.
he had a
He's
much better
right.
voice.
He had a much more appropriate voice.
Oh,
And
I
no-
get what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's
Yeah,
the voice
yeah.
actor, yeah.
He's right, and that's another thing. Like, really, they had all this time to like change the voice, modify it, edit, and they did nothing about it to say, "Hey, look, that voice." People didn't seem to like it, and for all the crap we give James Gunn, sometimes warranted, even he has changed things. When people mention when he had that plastic cup, I think it was, or a can thrown in it, and you saw the blink in the eye, he had it out. When people were mentioning the bobblehead, okay, that's gonna be in the movie. He's actually responded to some of that feedback and done something about it.
Well,
We're not having any noticeable feedback about the Thing's voice, and that's
wouldn't even
definitely something that's part of conversation. Surely not as much as Superman blinking and the bobblehead, but it's there enough from fanboys that you would think someone like, we got time to think of it. That's a simple fix, digital
And the
effects
actor-
and all.
And the actor doesn't even have to put on a different voice. Because, I mean, you'll have that sometimes when an actor will. Because I think even Chickless kind of does it in the original Fantastic Four. Where
his was horrible.
Yeah,
Chickless
what
was
they could have
terrible.
done is just kept his regular voice. But here's what I would have done: is I would have got with the sound designer and said, "What I want you to do is every time he talks, and every time he swallows, every time he goes or anything like that, add the sound of rocks crushing together, just minorly, like gravel, like you're walking on gravel, or like two rocks."
Yeah.
And you could have just had these little elements in there where you kind of get this idea of like, so when he talks, like I'm talking right now, you just kind of have that slight, every time I talk, just kind of like underneath my voice, you hear the, like you would hear when you're walking on rocks, or like when two rocks are like scraping together. And that to me would add just that element of that to it, kind of, even if you don't change the voice into a hokey like voice like this. I get that, right? If the actor doesn't sound that way, I get that. But at the same time, then you just find an actor who kind of fits that personality, maybe. But that's just me.
Should have changed. I mean, his voice should have changed. And you turn into a rock monster.
That's what I'm saying. You could even added another element to it and still have the same voice. But I mean, some people might not have liked my idea, but at least I'm thinking that's a little outside of the box compared to something we've had before.
You gotta have something. You gotta have something to show the transformation. And his voice is too high too. It's like the thing has got to have like a gravelly voice. It's just the way it goes. And Ben's like the big man on campus type. So he's not gonna have a high pitched voice. So
Daryl actually in the chat, he would have been a perfect voice for it.
Dude, I've heard he's been on our member. He's been on membership
like
one. He's got a super sexy voice. Yeah. Seriously, just add some gravel to his deep voice. Oh man, he would have had that with the voice.
So what we're saying is you needed Barry White.
Hey, I think Barry White, if he got to
my darling, I can't get enough of clobbering you, babe. I don't know why. I gotta keep clobbering you, babe.
That's good.
Keto Simple says, did someone say beard? No, it's not nearly as epic as your beard, sir.
His beard's way better.
Keto's got an epic beard.
Looks great, and it actually fits his head. Unlike Ben Grimm's beard. Sorry, Ron Garney, big fan. I've praised you 800,000 and million and one times, but that beard does not work on Ben Grimm. Sorry, bud. I still love you, though.
Yeah,
but that's what all these fans are like. Well, the Thing had a beard. I'm like, well, how many Fantastic Four comics have you read? And the people, people are going back, and I was in a chat, and they're like,
we're about to lose script here. I'm really sorry, Mark. I don't mean to interrupt you, but we're about to lose script because he's about to lose battery. So we had this question from earlier. I'm afraid Hollywood is suffering from acute sequelitis. Take this scripts and call me in the morning. This was for Script Actor.
Well, they've been doing sequels for
ever
60 to 70 years, so I would hardly call it acute. Call it maybe a feature, not a bug.
Well, it's different. We could maybe expand on that a little bit more, but I also want to get your quick take on Denis Villeneuve taking over James Bond as director from Jason Webster here for $2.
Well, it's very much outside of his style for Denis Villeneuve to do that. Do I think he could do it competently? Probably. You'd have to have one heck of a great editor, because you can't have the type of epic cinematography for Bond that he's been using for Arrival or his Dune series or Blade Runner 2049. That just won't really work for Bond. But we'll see what happens. I mean, it's Amazon kind of leading the ship right now on that one. So we'll have to wait and see. I think he's knows how to paint a beautiful tapestry, so shooting on location in various elaborate parts of the world would be interesting to see. But can he do it in a way that's still his style, but not so much of his style, so to speak? Because he has a lot of long, drawn out shots that don't need to be that long, that don't need to be that wide or extreme wide. That's just on the cinematography aspect. On the directing actors and stuff, I think he could nail it, no problem. He's great with actors. But yeah, I think right now
I'm more worried about who he'll sign off for a main actor now. Like, that was another thing I'm worried about.
Yeah, I mean, there's that rumors of that one actor who, if he is put up there, I put it on the Twitter X's there. That's going to ruin his career, because he's logically going to defend himself having that role because he wants the job. And every actor, doesn't matter what ethnicity, would love to play James Bond, and most of them know that they shouldn't because of the type of character he is. But he's going to be, that actor is going to be told all the wrong things, going to be emboldened with all the actual hate out there, because there is some legitimate racist hate out there. I've seen a couple of them already, but thankfully they're very few and far between. Everybody else is just saying, like, make him a different agent, make him another character, give him his own series, which is perfectly valid stuff. I don't.
With those eyes, I'd make him a villain.
But they'll never. The thing is, Amazon and his publicist and the people will never show him that type of stuff in the context for what it is. They're going to manipulate him to make him be on the defensive, and then unfortunately, a lot of people in the social media YouTube space will then jump on him because they're not seeing that he's also now a victim, just like the character that Amazon wants to have him play, or at least so the rumor says. Also for the sake of publicity and also for the sake of basically getting attention to something, so that doesn't matter if it fails or not, it's going to have that big impact culturally at that time, and all the people involved with it will be able to say, hey, yep, we did that. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad. They just want to say that they did that. And with that, I got to go because my battery is about
Take
to
care,
die.
man.
And I
Thanks
have
for
to
being
go,
here.
so I'll talk to you guys later.
Great to
Love
see
you all.
you.
Have a good night, man.
Good
All right,
night.
let's see what else you guys are talking about. Did you want to finish your
No,
thought,
I'm-
Mark? I'm sorry.
No, I'm okay. No, it was all good. Yep. And I forgot what
Sure?
I was saying at this point.
Okay,
yeah,
good. Okay.
So
I just want to make sure. I felt really mad.
appreciate
I'm like,
no,
he's like, my
someone's
battery's
phone is
dying.
dying. Yeah, then I saw that in the private chat. Yeah, so no, all good. Yeah.
thank you. All right. So SFX F314 Sabretooth Raptor on the note of James Bond says, not sure if 007 will work. Not modern wacky mood. Maybe a better choice might be a parody. Mr. Bill presents 007 villain Sluggo, Felix Mix, Iron Man. I'd always watch Mexican Iron Man in something. But we kind of already did get a parody. It was called Austin Powers.
Sharks with freaking laser beams. Yep.
Freaking laser beams attached to their heads. Flying Blind has been a member for 5 months, and then he says 5 months minimum effort puppy. I think that's his way of asking for the video, and this is also Mikey's favorite video too, by the way. For those who are wondering, here we go. There you go, my friend. Thank you for being a member.
That's me on the treadmill.
I love his little buddy behind him. His little buddy's just waiting for his turn. He's the one that's going to jump up there and just be all like, I'm a running. And the other guy's just like, can I be over now, Dad? I did the thing. Soul Nightmare says, oh yeah, Angela Seraphin will be Superman's mother, Lara Lorvan, alongside Bradley Cooper's Jor-El. Corn Sweat does look like he could be their kid. Well, there you go. Not sure about Cooper yet, but yeah, we'll see. Nicholas Horton says, Hail, the Thing's beard is like Gary at Nerdrotic. At least Galactus ain't a fart cloud, and I'm willing to give Jurassic World Rebirth a chance. I'm a Dino fan. Well, we'll have to see how that fares this weekend. I'm not so sure it's going to do as good as other films, but we'll see. Jason Webster says, have a chronograph that commemorates Star Trek The Motion Picture. The dial has a raised half sculpture of the USS Enterprise and yellow subdials. Oh, cool. Yeah, I just watched
awesome,
TMP like a week ago. I dig that movie.
Oh, that's a great movie. Great movie. Yeah, it's underappreciated, I think, sometimes. But if you're, I should say, if you're a real Star Trek fan, but it's the most Star Trek of all the movies, in my opinion. You know, I love 2, 3, and 4. 2 is one of my all-time favorites, but it's just got that great element of kind of like Galactus in many ways. So with that sci-fi aspect and the FF, let's see if obviously we're not getting that crazy.
I wish they kind of would have leaned into it more a little bit. That's where I said I would have accepted her being bald. Then I would have been like, look, just make her bald. Yeah, you're making a play on Aaliyah, like, and that's kind of what Aaliyah's role was to V'ger as the drone, right? So like, anyhow,
Harold and V'ger,
yeah. Of course, I also love the scene where Spock cries one tear for V'ger.
Yeah, for he's found a brother. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
And that's why Star Trek works, is we love those characters so much, and they're so well fleshed out, well rounded, and that's why that's earned. After watching 79 episodes, and then you see the movie, and then Spock's got that gravitas. We're not going to mention anything about New Trek, but did you guys talk about
any goddamn feelings about that? No, sorry.
Yeah, Bones. Yeah, but you didn't talk about I was late to the show, but you didn't talk about Riri Williams yet.
Oh,
did
fuck
you?
no, I haven't watched that shit. Although Yellow Flash is trying to make me watch it. I think if he's still in the chat, I don't want to watch it.
Come on, you got to watch it.
It's homework.
It's going to become homework probably. All right. Well, we have an update now on Martin Cove. We covered this the other day. Now, because remember we were all saying we're kind of surprised there hasn't been video of the event actually happening, because everybody's got their phones out. It's a fan thing.
Is he related to Mike Tyson?
maybe. But we actually have video of just post it happening, I guess. Okay, so this is right after it happened. This is her confronting Martin Kove after it happened. So here we go, kids.
Cannot fight people. That is not okay.
That is assault.
And it's 100% up to her if she wants to pursue charges. I'd like to understand why you did that.
So I'm assuming this is the police video, and that's the police officer talking, because that chick we just saw is the actress. So
I apologize. I was just playing because we're very playful together, and I bit down too hard, and I meant to.
She's got a mouth mark on her.
I know.
No, we do not play like that. I
apologize.
No, I am really pissed. You have left a mark on my body, which in your brain you think is play. Sir, were you raised in a ditch? Is that how people treated you when you were a child? You yelled at me. The audacity. How dare you, sir? How dare you?
You definitely should not have done that when you are in the wrong.
I'm very sorry that I got angry because I was indulging in something improper by doing that, and I'm very sincerely sorry. Photography evidence of it.
I don't see a bite.
Really?
Is this not insane?
She's acting, man. I'm on his side.
I don't see a bite.
Don't bend over and apologize for that shit now.
Here's the thing. Was it wrong of him to do it? Of course.
Yes, don't be biting people. We learned that in kindergarten, but like
I'm with you there, but she just ceded any high ground she had the way she reacted.
She's making this seem to be like the absolute. She's making it seem like she's Evander Holyfield. Once again, it doesn't make what he does right. It's still wrong is wrong, no matter what.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's now clear that she's trying to use this to capitalize on her opportunity. He apologized as he should. It was a stupid thing that he did. It should have been like, okay, please do not do something that fucking retarded ever again. That was absolutely stupid. What the hell were you thinking, Mon? And I get the comment about the ditch and all that. Okay, I think that's all valid. But it's clear she's trying to make a cancel opportunity out of this. It wasn't enough that he acknowledged what he did was insanely stupid. But instead, now she needs that's just not enough. And I hate because, the thing is, even when you apologize, then they expect more. It's not enough when you apologize.
It's funny you mention that, Mark, but since the only Mark I see on screen here is Mark D with a C, do you see a Mark?
Oh, what's that? What the shark bite? Oh no, I don't see any mark there. Yeah, I mean, my kid has bitten me worse than that. Kids would, when their teeth, whatever.
Oh God, that reminds me of the first time I ever had to spank my child, and I hated doing it. Well, here's what happened. He was really young, and he was laying on my chest like I was trying to get him to go to sleep, and he literally started biting down on like just above my collarbone, like right here on my. Yeah. I don't know why. He just started biting me with all of his might, and he had teeth at this point.
You taste good.
And I kept saying, Jeffrey, stop biting me, stop. And he just wouldn't stop. So finally I swatted him in the ass just to get him to cry so he'd stop biting me. And I felt so bad for it. It was the first time I ever had to spank him. And it was kind of like one of those moments where you realize, oh yeah, spanking is like, sometimes it works. But it was like really bad. I was like, holy shit, what the fuck did you do that for? I didn't say that, but I'm like, what the hell just came over my kid? Like,
yeah, our kids bite other kids. We had a problem like in nursery school, one kid's biting all the other kids, and but I mean, obviously, as you guys are all saying, I agree. Yeah, never should have done it. But she's showing the mark there. Yeah, obviously he did, and he's admitting it. But he's pretty, he's pretty apologetic right away. He's not like, hey, you wanted me to bite you. He's dropping, and he's not making excuses, which I like too. Kove's just saying, yeah, all right, I screwed up. It was my fault.
Well, the only excuse he's having is that we horseplay and I took it too far, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's not trying to say like you asked me to do it or coming up with some lame ass excuse. He seemed, he's really, trying to say sorry right there. So at this point, look, come on. It's like, yeah, if he drew blood or something, I could see, but you should have said, all right, just stop acting like an asshole. And he's a big guy. I've seen him in person at cons, and unfortunately, you're not going to see him at any cons anymore. But his son was also in the show, both big guys, and I guess he just lost his mind at one point. At this point, yeah.
I don't know. And then you have this part of it too, which
opportunity, just like
this is what I was saying, Nick. Yeah,
there was an opportunity. She's turning this into an opportunity, and then once you do that. And I'm glad the actor is saying if it's not true. Now, obviously, it ends up being proven wrong. Fuck him for lying. But at least, because I think the same shit happened a few weeks ago to JCVD. Someone was trying to say some shit. And he just outright said, that's fucking bullshit. That's it. He just outright said it word for word. That's fucking bullshit. And then it died off in a week. And hopefully, Martin Kove, as long as he's telling the truth, he stands his ground on that. This will die out the same way it did for JCVD.
Yeah, I'm giving him all the benefit of the doubt right now after seeing that clip. You're right. I'm glad that he, there's a certain respect to be had for the fact that he stood there and apologized with a level of maturity. Like he didn't. He
even put out a statement.
And he didn't blame her for it.
But I mean, that's enough. You don't need to keep apologizing now. You just.
He didn't blame her. He didn't say, "Oh, hey, well, you made me do this." He didn't do anything, or you know what? The worst apology is "I'm sorry for how that made you feel," or "I'm sorry for your experience." That's kind of like one of those non-apologies where someone did something wrong, but they want to admit for the action they did, so they want to indirectly acknowledge it. And no, he directly acknowledged her problem. And he didn't make it about him. He made it fully about her, as he should. And that was it. He's done more than enough. And
it was genuine, and it was acceptable to the degree of what he did. And now the other side has clearly ceded any kind of high ground they had on the issue by acting that way. There's nothing more for him to do. But if he has to defend himself, well, I'm in his corner now. Sure, a lot of people. I'm sure at this point, a lot of people would be too.
I think he should do some food commercials. Tasty
Maybe.
bites.
Well, and just so we can kind of address what's on the screen here. So it says that he was accused of sexual harassment in 2024. I don't even remember hearing about this. And the reason is because they investigated and didn't find anything, I guess. Now, look, I'm not going to sit here and say that that's not the way Hollywood works sometimes when they do their own investigations on shit, but he wasn't reprimanded in any way. The show finished. Everything seemed fine. Nothing seemed to come of it. So honestly, my guess is he probably said some old man boomer shit and somebody got their fucking butt hurt feelings going on, right? Like, I mean, that's kind of, and I'm kind of seeing the same thing here with this situation with this actress. And like the part where he's like, "Oh, you yelled at her," and it was, yeah, true. Again, you shouldn't be biting people, but I think he was literally just goofing around and playing around because just like on the set, he even said on the set, we played and goofed around all the time, play fight and all that kind of stuff. And when she's like, "You just bit me, you motherfucker," and all that kind of stuff, and he realized she was serious. Well, then that's when he probably turned to serious. He's like, "I was just fucking playing. What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, would you really seriously think I would do that to you? Like, unless he's senile in some way or something like that." And he's not acting that way, because they're confronting him the way they're confronting him, and he's completely taking responsibility. He's like, "Yes, I shouldn't have done it," but from the situation and him acting that way, I'm believing his story is that he was just goofing around and she took it too fucking personal. And just like I would believe on the set, if he were to say something to somebody, it doesn't even have to necessarily be quote unquote sexual harassment, but nowadays they consider just about anything sexual harassment, right? Look at like the Mickey Rourke situation with Jojo Siwa. He was even going a little too far there, but you know what? He was proven right in the end. I mean, come on. Sometimes boomers are right.
They don't say who accuses him in this article. It's not the same actress, I'm assuming, in this article. Martin Kove they don't say who's the accuser in this one, I guess, right?
Oh, it is. No, it's the actress he was in Cobra Kai with, and that was her talking in the video we just watched.
Yeah, no, but I mean, this sexual harassment claim is the same.
The harassment. They don't specify.
They don't. Yeah, it's just anonymous. Yes.
At least I don't think they do from my reading of it.
They don't say it wasn't her. Her accusing him, but
the matter did not involve physical contact from Kove. It was said to be leering and verbal convert. Enough that the actress went to so it's just one. Okay.
Oh, he looked at her the wrong way?
Oh my God. Guess what? Old men like to leer at girls. Just happens.
I mean, look, when you're 80 years old, what are they going to do? It's especially you get to like 90 or something like that.
Interesting, yeah.
And isn't he like 88? I don't think he's only 80. I thought he was older.
No,
than that. Maybe he's
he's around 80. He's 80. Yeah, he's in
Okay, I thought he
incredible
was
shape for his age. I mean, he looks great. I mean, talk about Danielson not aging, but
That's true.
yeah, Martin Cove and his stunts. I mean, he's doing some stunts in the show. Obviously not as much, but
not
he's
all
78.
of them, but
yeah, but I mean, he's I'm feeling my age now at 57. Can only imagine at 78.
Tell me about it. Yeah.
So,
and this is what I was getting at is like we're getting to this point where people looking like they're just like thought crimes almost at this point. Like, Jesus Christ, people. Get over it. So if you're a pretty woman, a guy's going to look at you. So what if he's 80? Yeah, like Six just said here on
There probably should be an age at which you like you like when you get to 64 and you're at that retirement age. When you're at like 80, 85, you just take a look at the bikinis and enjoy it. That's all you got left.
Well, it's not like you can do much, you know.
Well, in the shape he's in, he's probably
he might be able to.
a better bag than someone half his age.
And I mean, a lot of the guys where they've, I will say there's got to be something to it because a lot of the guys who are like really old and then the guys, everybody asks, well, what's your secret? It's either, why do you think I stick with young women? Keeps me young. Or you have like
out, obviously,
Ernest Borgnine who says, I masturbate a lot. And that motherfucker lived to like 100.
A very hairy palms,
we exist
he was a very
to
hairy
procreate
gentleman, yes.
and continue the species. If you stop doing that, then you don't really have
a purpose.
Yeah, so your body's probably going to tell itself to die. I'm not sure.
Kind of. I have a feeling there's something to that.
I've always thought that.
And I'm sure Martin has his way with the ladies, even at his age, I'm going to say. So anyway, Six says, oh my God, he looked at you, the whore, dumbass pimples. Setting the women back decades. Exactly. Like, Jesus Christ, it could have been worse.
It really could have been worse. It really could have been. This is not to make, once again, this seem like it's okay. We know it's not obvious as snow being white, but come on with this shit. It seems like nowadays we have to take every little misstep, tragedy, error, and we need to turn it into an opportunity. We can't let the mistake or a tragedy or an error just be that. It needs to expand into something else. It needs to become a movement. It needs to become some stupid trendy bullshit online. We can't just let it die after 10 seconds. And that's what this should have done. This should have been let her vent. He says his piece. Be done after 10 minutes. Instead, here we are 2 days of this bullshit with this. God, lady, just knock it off with this shit. There's women who have had it way worse. And this is what you're going on about. All you are showing is how easy your life has been compared to the other women who have been actual victims of bullshit from men.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of believe he was joking around now. Looking at that picture, he didn't draw blood. I mean,
he didn't even leave a mark. I don't know what the fuck she's talking about.
There. Yeah, there's nothing.
He was probably doing the whole thing. You know what I mean? Like
it's a joke. Yeah, trying to joke around. He took it too far, obviously. But I mean, come on. I mean,
well, that's the only context I can ever see somebody actually fucking biting somebody, and the way he's acting. Because like otherwise, if he was like senile and crazy, like you guys were just saying, he's not denying it. He's not trying to blame it on her or anything. He's not saying, well, I didn't do that. I didn't remember any of that kind of shit. You're just making shit. He's not showing any kind of, cognitive, like, issues there.
Yeah, he didn't call anyone a lying dog-faced pony soldier.
Exactly. Hey, I resemble that remark. Anyhow, I just think it's really strange and bad. I'm sick and tired of them always trying to tear down these actors years and years and years and years after the fact, especially when they're so old. It's like, what the fuck are they going to do? Unless they pop like 30 blue pills, do you really think they're going to be able to do anything? Yes, maybe Martin Cove is one of the exceptions because he is a very healthy, gent. But, it's just so strange. Anyway,
I'll say I've had way worse shit happen to me than what she had. What she had was child's play. I had a crazy dude.
You weren't supposed to tell any about that.
I once had a crazy dude at a college party try to chase after me with a knife. Please cry me a river, bitch.
I mean, from behind, Nick kind of looks like a lady.
That's actually funny. Oh man,
he's got a nice ass.
Dude looks like a lady. It is a little supple.
God.
I know. I told you weren't supposed to talk about that night. I know. Dead Man says with $2, this feeling is what V'ger can't understand. Yes. Oh God, it's such a great scene. Jason Webster says in South Korea, celebrities facing fake harassment and bullying claims have led to careers mistakenly destroyed, and in some cases, offing themselves. Exactly. I mean, shit. It doesn't even have to be in Hollywood. Look at that. I know very little about this case, but I just became aware of it. Like that lady who ran the Fox Sanctuary, offing herself over some kind of harassment. What the fuck was that all about? Like, God, people.
Reminds me of an indie game I played a few years ago called Night in the Woods. And I know that setting out any politics aside, it was a good game. Like, I actually really enjoyed it. Really well written. And then he got me too'd. Maybe in ways that I, as I looked into it a little later, was definitely way overboard. And he left this world of his volition as a result of that. You know, it's like, you know, actually happened a few weeks after I played the game too. So it was pretty fresh in my mind when I started seeing the news stories crop up about it. You gotta, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've heard too many of those. There's a few other ones too in the other communities too. It's like, whoops, I didn't mean to hit that. That was a total accident.
No, it wasn't.
No, it was because I was trying to add this clip.
No, that's fair.
That Mark just sent me and accidentally hit that instead of add clip.
It's clobbering time.
There we go.
I'll take
That's
that over the old Hulk cartoon where they called him the best man in the world and never loving.
I have the worst timing when it comes to shit like that. Trust me on that. I always fuck something up somehow. Speaking of fucking something up somehow, I'm sure they're going to fuck this up somehow. We've got more casting news for the Streetfighter movie. So we're getting a new Streetfighter movie. And for me, it was just Tuesday. That's a reference to your first one. Curtis 50 Cent Jackson is joining along with Jason Momoa, Noah Centineo, and more in Street Fighter. Andrew Koji and Orville Peck are also already on the call sheet of the adaptation of Capcom's video game. I don't think there's any word on who he's going to play necessarily. But we got, let's see, 50 Cent is just taken to the street. We got Jason Momoa, who's going to be playing Blanca. Noah Centineo is Ken. Gay country singer Orville Peck is Vega. Why does it matter that he's a gay country singer?
Who cares?
Ken? Really? The most Americana of the bunch? Of course he is. Of course he can. Oh my God. This is retarded.
What is gay country? Is
They're
this a
very
genre
happy.
I'm not aware of?
Oh, I love it. Oh, that's good. That's
Instead of your dog dying and your truck falling apart, it's my butt plug fell out today.
There's some interesting
Didn't know
pictures.
what to say. No,
There's some interesting pictures. I apologize for the long link in the private chat, but if you click on that, there's.
Oh Lord, I don't know if I want to. Oh Lord, oh Lord!
Look at the one of him riding the bull.
We can't show that on television. This is as bad as I thought it was. Holy fuck!
Oh, wow!
I can't believe I'm not a gay country singer. You get to wear masks. Why is he wearing a mask?
He's like the Lone Ranger.
Oh, he's not lone.
And he's broke back. Ooh.
Oh my God, look at this shit. That's some gay country, kids. You're in queer country now. Woo-ha! I'm gonna fuck you in the butt. Gonna fuck you in the butt. Gonna fuck you in the butt.
Sounds
I'm
like a
gonna
country
tell you what.
masterpiece.
There's nothing like the way you suck my dick today.
There's
I could write all kinds of gay country songs.
In a John Deere too by my brother.
You left me a John Deere letter.
John Deere letter.
Said he could do so much better. That's how much we care about fucking Street Fighter. We're playing more on the gay country singer there.
Yeah, but why'd they mention it in the article? Like, who at this day and age, who really?
It's clear that they're trying to signal.
Yeah,
they still need to signal to that crowd.
Anyway, there is more, but yeah.
Go.
No, there's other casts. There's Joe Anoyokai, aka WWE superstar Roman Reigns as
Roman
martial
Reigns,
art.
yes.
Artist actor Andrew Koji, Warrior, are on the roll call as battler Akuma and lead character Ryu, respectively. And Kalina Liang, if I can speak, is playing Chung Li. Okay, so Jackson will be playing Balrog. There you go, the Disgrace Box. That's what I figured. And Katayo Sakura is directing. So there you go. There's your Street Fighter cast, kids.
Yay! When's this supposed to come out? Next year?
I would imagine either next year probably would be it. And then they also added Andrew Schultz. Six just sent me here in the background.
No, that's random. Andrew Schultz. Wow, I did not expect to hear that one. But then again, we do have Roman Reigns and 50 Cent in a fighting movie, so it could be stupid, retarded fun.
Yep.
You know what? I'll if it's entertaining and it's retarded, I'll be fine with that. Seriously, I don't mind full on mental retardation syndrome when it's entertaining.
Sounds like he might be playing Don Hibiki. And then we got yeah, that seems to be the newest of the bunch. So there you go.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a Street Fighter movie. It's just supposed to be badass, crazy fun. Yeah.
Yeah, part of me would actually like to see them cast no names who know how to fight, but
that would have been preferential. That would have been. I can admit that.
But hey,
and like Roman Reigns is.
If they go good retarded fun with it, I suppose there's a way to make it work.
I mean, it can't be any worse than the first one.
That was such a crazy fun movie. But yeah, but like Roman Reigns, wrestler. That's great casting, I think, because they know how to do all the stunts and they've got that physical presence. So I don't know about Orville Peck, but maybe he's a martial artist on the side. I don't know. We'll see. Why is Pedro Pascal not in this movie?
Asshole.
Yeah.
True. Why is
now? I'm just obsessed with gay country.
He's like, I didn't know that was a genre.
Apparently, it is. I didn't know that either.
I mean, I could be a bear in the country. Gay country.
Did you get to do the roar and everything? Use your paw.
Shit in the woods.
Oh God, Jason Webster's super chat makes it even better.
And then Six sent me who the other person was who supposedly claimed our sources say the investigation happened towards the end of season 6 production and Martin was never asked to leave the set. We're told he was encouraged to apologize to an extra who made the complaint. A source with knowledge tells us Martin was completely transparent for the investigation and was exonerated. There you go.
Good. We can move on with our lives.
Yes, we can. And Action Com says calling Bob Barker. I don't know if he wants the Price is Right, but Price is not here. I don't know why. Maybe seeing a movie. And then Jason Webster says, no, this is gay country. Common mistake. If you go 28 miles northwest, you'll arrive in cousin loving country. Just follow the signs. Have a nice day.
You need to play banjo music behind that,
right? No, that's a sister loving country down south.
This was a miss. No, not a mistake. He had to make a distinction about it. That's where the brothers do it. That's where the sisters do it. That's where the uncles go.
Where do you get the uncle daddies? Where they're both your uncle and your daddy.
Oh God.
That's what I said. Down in sister brother land.
Woo, man. This is
Keeping it in the family, folks. Keeping it in the family.
Oh. I got nothing.
That's almost worse than our gay humor.
It really is.
Technically, it is.
It is.
Oh man, I love this.
I mean, that's actually illegal.
Yeah. Well, do you got anything else, Tom?
Not offhand. I think we've covered just about everything, and I got a stupid video to edit, so we should probably get out of here.
Okay.
I call it stupid, but it's actually kind of probably going to be a good one. I just say that because I'd rather hang out with you guys. That's why I say that. to
Oh,
be honest
that's
with
so
you.
nice. That's so
And,
nice.
and of course, all of you out in the chat as well are included in that, of course. And yes, that's the Appalachians. Is that more far into the north than yeah, that might. Well,
I thought it was Alabama.
that's sister love or brother country. The Appalachians is where they
Mm.
fuck you in the butt until you got a pretty mouth.
Okay.
Are you gonna go
Play
watch
banjos.
Deliverance now?
I have that movie. That's a good ass movie. But
Emphasis
the
on
part that
ass.
everybody remembers is like the least manliest part of the movie. And the rest of the movie, you got Burt Reynolds being probably the manliest he's ever been in a movie.
Jumping
He's
off
so
a
manly, he
waterfall.
didn't even need a mustache.
That's right. Yeah.
He like becomes one with the land. He's like Rambo before Rambo in that movie. He's just like running around with a bow and arrow and shit.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, that was a fun Toxic Tuesday with that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fantastic episode, man. They had 3 weeks of Burt Reynolds, man. We still need to do Malone. That will be a fun one when we get there to Malone, because Malone is just retarded fun, and his mustache looks great in it.
Stash. Yep.
Tom must have the
What?
old. Oh, there he is. Were you trying to be Sean Connery right there?
Bottoms up.
Bottoms up.
So let's see what's going on. CC, what you got going on? What are you gonna plug?
Nothing much right now.
Well,
I'm literally in I finished Silent Hill 2. I don't know what to play next because I'm going on a trip in 6 days, which is not enough time to play another game. Maybe I'll find a season of TV to watch or something. I need something short, like 20 hours or less to fit into the next 6 days.
Briscoe
I
County.
haven't decided what yet.
What was that?
Briscoe County. I just started watching that, so that's
there you go.
that's one season.
Or you could catch up on Mobland, which now has got a second season coming.
I haven't seen the first season of that yet, but I keep hearing
There you go.
about
You
it.
can catch up on that. It's like
It's
10
a good one.
episodes.
Yeah.
Tom Hardy. There you go. It's on Paramount Plus here. I don't know what it'd be on up there, but
Whatever ship I ride in on.
all right. Well, and then we've got Deadman saying it was a great show tonight. Well, thank you for the $1.99, and we appreciate it. We try anyway. Most days. What do you got coming up, Mark?
Well, I'll be playing some Sea of Thieves tonight later on my channel, and Friday night's Fortnite, and check out this new sign that I just did. I don't know if it comes over on the with the lights there, but just 3D printed a Jaws sign, because we're having all that fun for Jaws at 50. So there we go. Can never have too much plastic.
That's fucking cool.
Pretty cool, huh?
I like that.
So, yeah, the red, it does, with the camera, it's messing up the camera, but the Jaws is in red, yeah. So maybe I'll put that in my bedroom. My wife would love that. Yep.
Quit bringing shit in my bedroom.
You've got too many wonderful toys. Yeah.
Where does he get those wonderful toys?
Oh, those toys.
Yeah. All right, Nick, what you got going on?
All right. So obviously I'll be on TNT in an hour. I got Klobby's Comic Shop, and yeah, that should be a fun show. And we'll have Toxic Tuesday talking Airheads next week. That should be fun as well. And of course, Superman's coming, so I'm sure I'll be talking about it on 1,000 streams, and I'll definitely be doing a video for that as well on my channel. And if something else comes up interesting enough that I'm like, I need to talk about that, I'll do that too. And also, other things are on the way, so just keep your eyes and ears open for those other things. Thanks for having me.
All right, and with that, we are going to find the end credits and get on out of here. Thanks, guys. See you.
Cute kitty.
Available now for the first time ever on DVD from Midnight's Edge After Dark Productions. It's My Two Dads, the complete first season starring Mexican Iron Man Tom Connors and Culture Casino. Available now for $19.99 while supplies last.